A Coast Guard vet and his ex-girlfriend's Persian show cat walk into the apocalypse. The cat has taken control of the party. This isn't some bizarre joke. This is Dungeon Crawler Carl. Who is Carl? The first thing you need to understand about Carl, while he is the protagonist the series is named after, he's no one special. When he enters the dungeon, he's just as confused as everyone else and is assigned crawler number 4122. He isn't led there by fate or prophecy or to right some cosmic wrongs. He's just another cog in the machine. Before aliens collapsed the world and drove survivors underground to fight in their twisted game show, Carl was a 27-year-old living in Seattle. He worked as a marine technician, as he would say, fixing electrical systems for rich assholes and their party boats. He shared a 2-bedroom apartment with his girlfriend, Beatrice, and her cat, Princess Donut. He'd work, play some video games, hang out with a couple buddies, and laze around. He was not excelling at anything, he was just living his life. Beatrice goes to the Bahamas for Christmas without Carl, and through the wonderfully toxic world of social media, Carl finds out that she's there with her ex-boyfriend Brad, definitely cheating on him. He breaks up with her over the phone. Simple, frank, to the point, no drama. In the middle of a freezing cold night in early January, Carl steps out for a smoke when Donut hops out an open window. Carl panics and goes after the cat wearing nothing but boxers, a leather jacket, and Beatrice's Crocs. While the pair are outside, every single building on Earth is flattened simultaneously. Mystery portals open up, urging survivors to go down, and Carl, carrying a pampered house cat, goes in. He isn't greeted as a hero, but as a prop. The game basically forces him to remain pantsless and barefoot. This running gag shows the twisted nature of the dungeon, but also the darker side of using people as a commodity in entertainment. The big trait Carl does have is an improvisational mind. He's able to understand how the dungeon works and uses the skills that he acquired naturally in his life to adapt to the insane situations and push the boundaries of what's allowed. He's reasonably strong, clever, and good with electronics, but his true speciality is the indie ploy. He wants to survive the impossible situation he's in long enough to protect those he cares about and, in any way possible, make the people running this whole thing pay for what they've done. When the game's RPG system measures his stats, he has high strength, solid constitution, but low intelligence and charisma, especially next to Donut. Carl is one of our leads, but he's not even in charge of his own party within the dungeon. Who is Princess Donut? Her Royal Highness, Grand Champion Breed Winner Regional, National Winner, Legendary Diva, Formal Child Actor, Best in Dungeon, Princess Donut, the Queen, and Chonk. Every title is actually real and earned throughout competition, combat, and sheer force of personality. If you treat any of them like a punchline, she'll remember that, and she holds grudges. Before the dungeon, Donut was a pedigreed tortoiseshell Persian cat bred by Beatrice's family and entered into hundreds of cat shows. She won nearly all of them. She was, in her own small pocket of the world, an elite specimen. In her downtime, she would lay with her human companions and watch endless hours of TV and see what they were doing on their phones or computers. As a regular cat, none of this meant much to her. But when Donut eats a dungeon-generated Enhanced Pet Biscuit, she is elevated from pet to crawler, and her own stats scale up appropriately with her new sapience. This makes her the first cat to be an actual crawler in Dungeon Crawler World. All of this time, looking at how stories and plots play out in pop culture, as well as her time preening for judges and show cat crowds, actually serve her very well in the deadly game where viewership and audience love can literally save your life. When she enters the dungeon, carried in by Carl, she's not the first cat to ever enter a dungeon, but she does become the first cat ever recorded in Dungeon Crawler World history as an official crawler. Before the Pet Biscuit, she would have been simply classified as a pet. Early on in the story, Matt Dinniman, the author, shows how these stories aren't going to be your typical humans fight for survival and pets getting the ability to speak. He doesn't waste our time going for tired jokes on cats learning human words and bumbling around a serious situation. Donut snaps from one form to another and immediately starts advocating for herself arrogantly and with total clarity. She has more stat points than Carl, so the game puts her in charge of their party of 2 that she designates the Royal Court of Princess Donut. She treats Carl as her manservant and royal bodyguard. She makes a lot of demands, and the AI running the game only makes her head bigger by leaning into a lot of these outrageous personality quirks since the audience is eating it up. Early on, she leans into a magic build because of her size, and her go-to move is shooting magic missiles from her eyes. A talking cat is ripe for comedy, and she is a genuinely funny character. But that doesn't mean she isn't one of the most ferocious and formidable crawlers as the series progresses. Her time as a show cat has taught her how to perform. She understands the show aspect of the crawl, where Carl is more in sync with the RPG aspects. She understands how to appear on talk shows and play to an audience that grows into the billions, the quadrillions. She knows being the breakout star on Dungeon Crawler World is a way to survive, and she's better at playing that part of the game than any other crawler. This is established from the start, but it may take some readers a bit to catch on. Donut is always performing. Her life is a performance. She was a competitor her entire life. The dungeon transforms her in a way that lets everything she's learned out, but she was always this animal. Even outside the context of winning over the audience and sponsors, her childlike innocence and arrogance is revealed to largely be an act that she uses as a shield to hide the more fragile parts of her psyche from what is going on around her. These moments come out in intimate scenes between Donut and her companions, especially Carl. God damn it, Donut. On paper, this partnership should not work out. Carl wants to go by as unnoticed as possible. Donut requires maximum visibility at all times. Carl solves his problems by hitting, kicking, or blowing them up. Donut does so by acting above it all, making herself the most important thing in the room and talking her way out of things. His charisma is low, hers is high. The differences in approach don't rub up against each other, but make the pair counterparts. His constitution and strength cover her physical weaknesses, though she is more powerful than her size would let on. Their combat styles even complement each other. At first, it's incidental, but they lean into their strengths and learn to work in tandem. The biggest key that makes them an incredible pair is not found on their stat sheets, spell pools, or magical gear. It's in their combined grief. Carl is grieving, not exactly for his recent relationship ending with Beatrice, but because the life and the potential of that life that he lost. He was happy with his simple life, cozy apartment, and, it takes him some time to admit, but spending alone time with Donut. In many ways, he showed more loyalty to the cat than even Beatrice, and Donut knows it. Donut is Carl's last piece of that simpler life that he chose before being forced into this one. Donut lost Beatrice too, Miss B as she calls her. She lost her owner, her home, and the world that she was built for. But much like Carl and B's relationship ending before the world did, Donut and B's was broken as well. Beatrice was contemplating selling Donut into breeding and getting a new cat to win show ribbons with. Carl was plotting to take the cat and show it some genuine love, even if she wasn't his. Donut masks this hurt through ambition, presence, and performance. They argue a lot, but there's nothing one would not do for the other. Every utterance of "God damn it, Donut," and there's a lot of them, so much so that the alien audience considers it Carl's catchphrase, he ends up going along with what the cat wants. She'll bark orders a lot, commanding people around her like they're all her subjects. But when it comes down to it, she also will fall in step with Carl and the larger plan. The odd couple style pairing is not bad luck, it's a necessity for them. The heart of every book in the series is two beings who only have each other and refuse to let their impossible situation change that. Check out this video next for more on Dungeon Crawler Carl Explained, and I'll see you on the next floor.